Dun 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 dun.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we embark on a journey into the post-apocalyptic world of The Walking Dead, more specifically the Telltale Definitive Series. These are no ordinary games. This amazing compilation of Telltale's acclaimed games spanning across 4 main seasons, 1 DLC and the standalone Michonne game, this amazing journey sees you go through a zombie-infested world where your choices shape the fate of your fellow survivors. With familiar faces and callbacks from the TV show to new exciting characters, I invite you to join me on this heart-pounding narrative adventure that earned its place in gaming history. In today's video, I'll be exploring the following: the platinum, the choices, the characters, the technical aspects, and of course, a spoiler-free discussion on all of the seasons. Please sit back and relax as I take you through my journey and retrospective on this game series. Now let's talk about the Platinum Trophy. That elusive, glistening prize that calls to all completionists among us. The Walking Dead presents a straightforward challenge for trophy hunters, that challenge being time. While the difficulty to this platinum is 1 out of 10, it can average from around 40 to 50 hours to pick up all trophies needed for this platinum. There are 5 bronze trophies, 12 silver, 6 gold, and of course, 1 platinum. These trophies relate to completing each episode within a season. For instance, Season 1 has 6 episodes, and there are 6 trophies associated to that season. This theme continues throughout the series, and as long as you complete every season and episode, the platinum is yours. I will say it is a shame not to have individual platforms
Really?
for each individual game, but being a compilation game, that's to be expected. And that's it for my platinum journey. Thanks for watching. I'm only kidding. I am conscious that content-wise, that would be pretty boring to just essentially watch a Let's Play of The Walking Dead. This isn't 2012 YouTube anymore.
How's it going, Red? My name is PewDiePie.
Things have changed quite a lot, as much as some of us may like to go back and revisit that era because it was quite cool. But what I'm going to do in today's video is just provide you a retrospective on the franchise. And if you've not already played the game, I hope that this video convinces you to do so. Do take note again that this video will be spoiler free for the most part, as the twists and turns on this journey are fantastic and you should experience them yourself, your way. One of the game's defining qualities is its narrative excellence. You're not just playing, you're living the story, making choices that impact the unfolding drama around you. Your journey is going to be a roller coaster of emotion, and this narrative brilliance is part of the key which made me love this platinum experience so much. In The Walking Dead, your choices carry significant consequences. Every decision you make has a ripple effect on the story. While it does not affect the platinum, which is very linear, its journey encourages you to replay and experiment to see how different choices affect the wider game. The Walking Dead shares similarities with other games that also implement the subgenre of the butterfly effect system. This includes Until Dawn, Heavy Rain, and also Detroit Become Human. Great games, by the way. While there is not as much overall freedom in the Walking Dead games, as some predetermined events are inevitable, all other factors surrounding these events can be manipulated. This butterfly effect system is determined normally by 4 dialogue responses or 2 actions. Sometimes I felt that the dialogue actions weren't really applicable to the situation and the sort of playstyle that I was trying to play as the character. So sometimes, for better or for worse, silence is the best option. Again, sometimes when you need to make a pivotal decision, sometimes I did feel that the options were too limiting or just not what I wanted to do as a character. For instance, let's say a character has a bite. My immediate thought from watching the TV series is we need to remove this area if that's even possible as quickly before it spreads and ultimately turns the person into a walker. As this is common practice in the TV universe, I do understand that there's going to be slight differentials in the game universe. However, I do think they are connected. I don't think this is a Marvel case where there's multiverses. I do want to say it's all in the same world, but sometimes the predetermined routes that you take does limit choices and doesn't provide you with that satisfying option and I guess the freedom to be what you want to be as the character. This only happened a few times and relates to different minimal story points. I am really making a mountain out of a molehill here, but I just thought it would be worth raising, as that's just my opinion. I do understand that this could come across slightly picky, but some scenarios that I were placed in, I just had a personal conflict when I encountered them in the game, and I would have personally wanted to do things slightly differently, but I do understand that the game is the game and you can't really change that in this kind of game, and they've done as much as they can. I'd be interested to see if you've had any choices or options in this game that you weren't satisfied with. It'd be very interesting to see if I'm alone on this one or if it's relatable. Character development is another aspect that shines in The Walking Dead. You'll see characters grow and change as you progress. This journey requires you to build connections with these characters, making your choices all the more impactful. I enjoyed how while the story followed the same group for the most part, you were able to play as different characters across the seasons, which for me was very enjoyable. I understand some people might prefer following one character throughout the journey consistently, but within this world and the game, the approach that Telltale took, it worked really well. While I will not dive too deep into character development to avoid spoilers, I just want to say that this collection is one of the easiest stories to see clear character development occur. This doesn't mean you have to be analysing characters like you did at poetry in school. It's very clear to see the hardships that someone goes through. I guess that's what an apocalypse does to you, am I right? Again, while some factors are predetermined development wise, you can still subtly control others' development and their reactions, thus being a true reflection of you, the player. On a technical note, The Walking Dead showcases incredible craftsmanship with its comic book art style, which immerses you into the world. This visual excellence adds to the overall unique experience of the game collection. It is clear, like any game, that over time, the developers will fine-tune the game mechanics alongside the overall presentation and graphics. If you look at the very first game compared to the last game, the difference is clear. Remember, originally, the first game was on PlayStation 3 in 2012, so like any game of that era, the colour palette is very dark and dingy with neutral earthy tones. By playing this collection back to back, I was able to appreciate the subtle changes made each season, whereas when I played for the first time, there were large breaks between episodes and even longer waits between a new season. I also think being younger, I was just not as savvy and observant to the changes that make a game look good, just an FYI. I do have to say for the most part that the collection innovated with each season, adding new mechanics and quality of life features such as being able to run. In the first game, it could almost, you could argue that it was quite clunky and quite slow and didn't play the best. While I still enjoyed it, surprisingly, being an old game and all, it was nice to see that in the later editions you were actually, able to speed things up just a little bit. I really enjoyed the QTE sections where you would tap a selection of buttons and then it would shoot your gun accordingly. Alongside this, some sections you would just aim towards a zombie and shoot it, and that would be a guaranteed kill, almost like an aimbot was in play here. I believe Season 3, A New Frontier, had the best mechanics and blend of QTEs. In the final season, it almost felt like they reversed some of the features that I liked in Season 3. For instance, there are two scenarios in the final season where you're being attacked by a group of walkers, and the first mechanic that is questionable is you have a bow and arrow and you can actually aim it in to shoot. However, the aiming isn't the best, and if you miss a shot, you have to exit the animation almost to reload it and zoom back in, and it does take a few seconds between each shot. I guess that is logic, but by the time the walkers, are moving up onto you, if you miss your second shot, you're then dead. So then you have to restart the section. And because it happens so quick and it's so finicky, there's not really much time to learn how to aim. It's kind of, let me just hope that this hits, So I wasn't really a fan of the aiming mechanics in the final season. I did prefer earlier seasons where you just tap a QTE or you'd aim towards the enemy and there'd be kind of like a large radius you would aim into, and then if you shot anywhere within that, it would be a kill. With Season 4, they made it a lot harder, for better for worse. That's down to you, but my opinion, I wasn't a fan. Alongside the shooting mechanics, I found that the takedowns and killing walkers with a knife to be a bit of potluck as well. Sometimes you'd find that you got overrun really quickly, and I guess that does provide realism and adds difficulty to the game, but it almost felt a bit too hard in sections the way that I was getting swarmed. It's like you had to do it the game's way. There was no creativity of let me do it this way. It's I have to take them all down and move around them sort of thing. While I did thoroughly enjoy the story of the final season, it did feel like the developers were not true to themselves and strayed away from the uniqueness that originally brought me into the series. The final season came out in 2018, and I can't help but feel it was influenced by its peers. And by peers, I mean other games at the time. It almost felt like the game was open world while still limiting you to an area and still very linear. As mentioned, the running mechanics were good. It was a lot faster in the final season, and I mean, this did happen in previous seasons, but it just felt like in this season it was a bit more sort of pushy and in your face, more like there was a central hub in a way. And alongside that, they added collectibles to the game.
No, 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 no. Wait. Wait.
And while that may be a nice touch for some, I'm in the boat of I'm not the biggest fan of collectibles, and even if I love a game franchise, unless it's tied to a trophy or maybe an unlockable like skin or suit in a game like in Spider-Man, I don't really care for them. Luckily, you don't need to get any of the collectibles in this game for the platinum, but I just thought, you know, they were adding different things into it. For me, for better for worse, it was for worse, but I understand some people could actually enjoy these quality of life changes that they added to, I guess, keep up with modern games in a way. On the topic of this game feeling kind of open world and also having collectibles, for me, it just didn't fit with the rest of the Walking Dead games. I believe in this final season that they innovated in the wrong way. Now we move on to the season discussion, where I'll be taking a deep dive into every single season and piece of content in the Walking Dead Definitive Collection. And remember, I'm keeping this spoiler free, so if you've not played the game before, you can enjoy it for the first time. Kicking off our journey is Season 1, which originally came out in 2012. This game introduces us to two main characters for this season, Lee and Clementine. This season's storytelling is truly a masterpiece that keeps you on the edge of your seat. Your choices shape the relationships and define the survival of your group. It's an emotional roller coaster with choices that tug on your heartstrings. Season 1 sets the bar high, and whether you are playing for the first time or replaying like me, I guarantee you will thoroughly enjoy your time. The 400 Days episode was released in 2013, and I'm counting this as DLC as it's kind of connected to Season 1 and almost bridges the gap from Season 1 to Season 2. While it did not have any major story relevance or continuation, it did introduce some new characters which may or may not be involved in the next season. This DLC was fairly short, which is not a criticism. I believe they delivered what they needed to do in a short amount of time without dragging it out, and as DLC goes, it was okay content. It just helped develop the world around it, which I can really appreciate for the DLC. Season 2 saw its first episode be delivered in December 2013 and continue until August 2014. That's quite a long time. At the time, the wait between games must have been horrific, you know, because I was so hyped when an episode would drop and leave you on a cliffhanger, like having to wait months. Obviously with this collection you can just binge it all in one go, which is fantastic, but going back to 2013 and 14, wow, it was rough, man. But anyway, the story picks up with an older Clementine navigating the harsh post-apocalyptic world. It maintains the high narrative standards of the series, but exploring the world from a different, vulnerable perspective. It introduces fresh dynamics and innovation to your gameplay, a common theme, but your choices again matter more than ever, and as the stakes are higher, you'll find yourself entangled in a web of moral dilemmas. Season 2 is a worthy continuation, offering a rich narrative experience that will both challenge and captivate you. At the time of making this video, I didn't realise this game spanned over 8 months until you finally saw the conclusion of the season. It was great to play these games seamlessly in the Definitive Collection, but I appreciate what was most fun about this was actually waiting for each episode and generating hype and cliffhangers. I can just think back to myself in 2013 and 14, kind of hating it at the time but also enjoying the hype, and it's a really interesting dynamic to revisit now as well. Our next installment came in December 2013 in Season 3 as you enter a new frontier. This is where we meet Javier, a new protagonist, or you'll witness the complexities of family relationships in the midst of a zombie apocalypse, and also the spotlight shifting to a new character. The series maintains narrative depth and also engaging choices. It's a fresh perspective that adds layers to the overall narrative of the Walking Dead collection. I really enjoyed playing as Javier in this installment, and for me, this is by far the best season in my opinion.
What do you mean by that?
Within this game, you can really see how the game has technologically progressed and it just looks amazing. The quality of life tweaks just really help this game stand out further from the rest. And as well, it's not like it's a game in silo, it's a continuation building on from season 1 and season 2, and now you're in season 3. While there are new characters, again, familiar faces are going to return. Or maybe not, who knows, spoiler free. And finally, we arrive at the final season. Originally released in 2018, this season would conclude the Telltale games for now, and ultimately where Clementine's story reaches a fitting conclusion. This season manages to be a fitting farewell to one of gaming's most beloved characters. It explores themes of survival, trust, and what it means to be a family. It's a bittersweet journey that encapsulates everything we love about The Walking Dead. With high stakes, intense choices, and a satisfying ending, the final season is accumulation of a remarkable series. While I do have some gripes with some of the newer mechanics, the story was fantastic. One really nice addition was the comic panels for the intros to this game, and also the death screens you would get, and obviously you died. I just thought they looked really, really cool, and yeah, it was a fantastic callback to the comics as well. To me, it feels like the story has gone full circle, paying homage to where it started. This conclusion mirrors aspects of earlier seasons while making new, bold narrative choices. And most importantly, one tiny choice you make back in season 1 could have an effect in season 4. And the butterfly effect genre isn't really spoken about too much in games, but I truly do think it's one of my favourite subgenres, I want to call it, because I don't think it is just its own thing by itself. It's normally tied to, you know, a main genre. The story is truly what you make it. With so much content to revisit in a new way, I promise you this final season will have you at the edge of your seats. Thank you very much. Oh, so you thought I was done?
I'm not finished.
Well, we do have one final season, which is kind of like DLC because it is so short, and that is the Michonne season, which consists of only 3 episodes. Released before season 3, A New Frontier, this actually came out in February of 2016, and as a longtime fan of the TV show, seeing another callback to our beloved character was just amazing. But for me, this DLC just fell a bit short. I don't know if this is because I've played it previously, you know, many years ago, so I know everything that happens. Maybe that kind of clouds my judgment here. But even so, going back and playing seasons 1, 2, 3, I've never played the final season before, but I've played the first 3. I still enjoyed going back to them and revisiting them, but for me, the Michonne one just wasn't as fun, and I will get into that. This DLC tried to provide some context to Michonne's backstory, but at times it just felt like a dream simulator.
None of this is real.
Huh?
You're in a dream.
Huh?
For me, the flashbacks that occurred throughout the season were just far too long and drawn out for my liking. It really diminishes any prior build-up that happens. The season peaked in the final episode, of course. Like every other final episode in the franchise, it's always going to have an epic finale. While I did not enjoy the season that much, I'm gonna kind of contradict myself here, which I've probably done many times in this video already, but I felt that the last episode ended just as the story actually started picking you up.
Really?
And it did almost leave you wanting more. The finale was extremely short. All of the action was wrapped up within the first 10 to 20 minutes, just leaving some time for some flashbacks and then a drawn out dramatic escape, while also being entangled with this flashback dream sequence. Truly the definition of blink and you miss it. The supporting cast in this game was nothing to write home about either. I found some characters extremely annoying, Samantha and Greg, and I actually wanted to side with the antagonist for the majority of this story. That's how annoying I found the support cast to be. In conclusion, The Walking Dead Telltale Definitive Series is not just a game, it's an adventure, a character study, and a shining example of an interactive storytelling. The Platinum Trophy is the ultimate goal for those who want to immerse themselves in this epic narrative adventure. I would warmly welcome a new installment from Telltale Games in the Walking Dead universe. I think what they've done with the, 5 seasons in total, 6 if you include the 400 Days DLC, all of the work they've done within the Walking Dead Telltale universe, I thought has been fantastic.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect.
everything, down to the last minute details.
While this story has reached a fitting conclusion, I would love to see potentially another story or even some more beloved characters. If there's any of you guys watching this that developed the game, please make another one or do something with it, because it's a terrific idea and there's not enough games like this. Please, please, please make some more games. Thank you very much. So, have you embarked on the quest for the Platinum Trophy in The Walking Dead? What are your thoughts on the game? Share your experiences and trophy hunting tales in the comments below, and let's keep the discussion alive. Right? Yeah, alive.